integrity is telling myself the truth, and honesty is telling the truth to the other people.
And which gave me a tremendous opportunity of seeing what exactly is happening and why. Why is more important? Purely because of selfishness and greed of people in power.
But it's an interesting thing that you wear two hats. On the one side, you are a practicing advocate. So you are actually standing on the side, even protecting a criminal.
Today's society respects money and power only. How it came, nobody bothers. No, you must have an ambition. Ambition to grow, ambition to become somebody big. Ambition even to become rich, become a crorepati, but legitimately. Even as a judge, the top politicians against whom the charges were there and brought up before me and all. One of the Bihar members of parliament, even today I think is a member of parliament, he was accused of a murder, a political murder, the thing. And he was in custody in Bihar, Patna jail. He used his political influence, got himself transferred from Behur jail in Patna to AIMS in Delhi on a ground of some ailment or something. Some doctor certified him to be, he required treatment in AIMS. Then Chief Justice of India, when I was a judge of the Supreme Court, got a complaint. This man is get up in the morning, have breakfast and go out and meet all his friends and others and not come back in the night to sleep and all. So instead of being in Behur jail, he is in the hospital doing this type of thing and all. So we should be investigated into it. Then the Chief Justice posted that matter before a bench of which I was a member and all. So we issued notice to the AIMS director, is it true? He said, yes, but we can't do anything because he's so powerful, we couldn't do it. So we issued notice to that person to appear before us and all. He appeared through a lawyer. Then the lawyer started questioning our intelligence. He said, what do you know about ailment of a person and all? The doctors have certified, he requires treatment. Then we said, this is the report we have, can you deny it? No, you might have gone out a couple of times and all. Is it not violation of the parole rules and other things? That may be, but you can't do anything about it. And such like arguments are addressed. Then he is so and so, so powerful, this and that. I dictated an order straight away in that court and he should be transferred back to Behur jail. Now, Behur jail, he went there and he threw a birthday party there. He invited all his friends into the jail. And all the local officers of the jail also supported him and other things. So that was brought to our notice. So again we issued notice to him. Why you should not be transferred to jail in South India? Because farther away from seat of power, their influence reduces to the thing. Whereas, believe it or not, his wife who was then a member of parliament with the kids, came to the court and begged of us, please don't transfer him to South India, they'll murder him there. So we transferred him from Behur jail to Tihar jail in Delhi, saying that he shall not be allowed any parole and other thing without the permission of the court. So I dealt even at that point of time when it came to people in power, it had no this thing and all. Now coming to Karnataka, the post was such. If I have to be honest to that post, I must discharge it. I was brought here and that investigation of mining was given to me. Believe it or not, at that point of time from 2000 to 2010, 1 ton of metric ton of iron ore fetched only 27 rupees to the Government of Karnataka as royalty. Because the government is the owner of that thing. It was given 27 rupees royalty. That 1 metric ton was sold to China and other countries at that point, 7,500 to 8,000 rupees. Oh, sorry, 6,500 to 7,000 rupees. Where is 27 rupees? 1 metric ton, maybe about this much. And millions of tons were stolen from each mine and transported in a day. So you can imagine how many millions of rupees that was siphoned off from the government, which belonged to the government.
But they must have been in collusion.
Absolutely.
All of them.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. One day, Lokayukta officers seized 90 lorries which are transporting, in the queue they were going, near a place called, near Karwar. And the entire thing, some millions of tons were deposited on a port called Bellary port. 3 months later, when one of my officers went to see the thing, not a grain was left. All were stolen from them. Even 27 rupees were not paid. Okay, we filed charge sheets against big companies were involved. I don't want to name them here. Big companies were involved. We filed charge sheet against them. And one fine day, the officer who was investigating that case was kept under suspension by the Government of Karnataka. Now what do? Keep quiet?
No.
No, I couldn't. So I resigned. I still had 1 more year to go. and submit my final report in mining. I resigned. And many people came to me, oh, withdraw your resignation, because it became an all India issue and all. I said no. Then Mr. Advani came to Bangalore, and Advani, as I mentioned, he was in jail, I was his lawyer. He contacted me. He said, Santosh, you are doing a good job. Please withdraw your resignation. I said, sir, how do I face these officers who have gone to the field and exposed themselves to these powerful people? Tomorrow, what will happen to them if I accept this? What is your condition? I said, only one condition. You withdraw the suspension, and I will withdraw my resignation. And they did, government did. Very reluctantly, the Karnataka government did. And later I submitted a report where I named 3 chief ministers of 3 political parties.
All of them?
7 ministers. I mean, what is the use if I sit there? Karnataka Lokayukta came into existence in 1986. But till 2005, 2000 to 2001 to 2000, Venkat Challa was the Lokayukta. He gave a face to that institution by raiding and catching corrupt people. I came and I continued it. People had they say, oh, ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಬಂದರು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಗಿದೋಯ್ತು ಅಂತ. But then I did my duty. I didn't hesitate to leave the job and go. I was not sticking to that job when it came to principles. The thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that is one that keeps me going. It gives me a good night of sleep and all.
But did you get any threatening calls, and did you get any kind
I got threatening calls, I got pressure on me, so much so when they asked me, what is that you want? When it came to one of the persons who was heading the government. I said, you don't have what I want in life and all, so don't offer me anything. If I was doing anything wrong, madam, today they would have exposed me naked in the street. Then I couldn't do anything except saying that ರಾತ್ರಿ ವೆಚ್ಚವನ್ನು ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಹಾಕಿ ಅಂತ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ ಜವಾಬು ನಾನು.
No, it is something which, when you are very clear and you have no skeletons in the cupboard.
Correct.
So why should you get scared about anybody?
I'm not bothered about it. If I become a martyr, if somebody takes my life away, and I'm happy with what was happening in the thing. When I retired, then the DGP came to my house saying that, sir, you must take security. What for? No, there are things that have happened. You got many people who are not your friends and other things. I said, who killed Mrs. Gandhi? It's security people, isn't it? Oh, why are you taking that example? I said, I have to give an example. I gave it. I don't want security. I'm telling you, I'll give it in writing. I don't want. And even till today, I have not taken security after my retirement. Kesara, Sara, whatever will be. The future is not yours to see.
So you have that as a motto.
Yeah.
And even today.
And the biggest thing is do my duty which the responsibility requires you to do. It just doesn't say. And what are the things which I have said? I want you to say, what would you have done in the situation like this and all? One day, a man came from North Karnataka district and all. I said, what's your problem? He says, sir, my wife has delivered a girl child. I said, so what? No, sir, there is a scheme of the Karnataka government which says a girl child born to a poor family is entitled for certain financial benefits up to certain age. So they say, there is no proof that you are a poor man, and of course you got a girl child, so you are not entitled to it. I believed him for some reason or other. I didn't question and kept it aside and all. I sent an officer to that district to find out and give me a report. He comes and gives me a report. He says he and that lady and an accompanying person walked 9 kilometers from their village to the government hospital, because the government rule says if a girl child is born in a government hospital, it is a presumption that child, it can be rebutted, but it's a presumption that child belongs to a poor family. So this lady comes to the district headquarters hospital. There the staff say first money, then bed. She didn't have that much money. If she had money, she would have come in a bus. They didn't walk 9 kilometers in her. They refused. Then without any option, she sent the accompanying person to the village to get some money. Then the staff said, don't sit here, go sit outside. And without any charge, she had to walk outside, sat in a bus stop and delivered a child in the bus stop in front of the district hospital.
So therefore they didn't believe her.
The family, social welfare department said there's no proof. When he said, when we came for the hospital, they said that we can't look into all this. The child is born in a bus stop. Then I sent a report to the government. There's a principle in law called vicarious liability. Master is responsible for the mistakes of the servant.
Yes.
I said, because of your servant, this lady had to go out and deliver a child there. And now, I can't punish that the same. You give this child the benefit. Government gave it. But look at the way. What sort of a people are we?
That is one person. Look at the number of people who would not have been able to come to you.
Correct.
And get the benefit.
Yes. See, during my time, there's 23,000 cases were filed of such nature and all. 23,000 cases. But there must be 23 lakh people who are suffering.
Absolutely.
They have no access.
Absolutely.
But then at least, to that
least
much.
those people got
But now
the
where, madam? You know what has happened? They have taken away that power. Out of the two powers, grievance,
and
redressal.
this is exactly what I was coming to. I mean, they found that by giving this power, it was actually hitting their bottom. And therefore, they started taking that off and giving it to the CAG. Now, that doesn't really work. SCP. Now, if they take those police and then give it to the police itself, then it's again corruption. It goes along.
Everybody knows, madam. The problem is, you post today, an honest man has no place in any office for more than 1 month or 2 months. And he's shunted out to the thing.
Absolutely.
And those people who are amenable to their this thing, they go. Now, honest people also become corrupt because of these transfer policies in this. Because what can they do? They shunt him off to some place where there is no office, there is no table, there is no chair, like that. Lokayukta police originally came like that. And they were all good people. So I took benefit, or Venkatachala took benefit, and I took benefit of them and all. Honest people. And they were honest in the sense they wanted to do this. Otherwise, how could I go? I can't go to the field.
Absolutely.
They have to go and do the field job and all. They have to file the charge sheet and everything. And they did a wonderful job.
Absolutely. But my point is, okay, we have the problem here. But in your mind, with your vast experience, how do you instill this kind of revolution in the minds of these people and keep that fire burning with the youngsters? Because see, we are the past, the present and the future. How do you actually see, to bring a change, do you think that you just put a nuclear bomb on all these politicians? Because every time I look at it...
Or maybe doctors like you, why don't you find a method by which you can bring about a genetic change in
like
these people?
Infusing stem cells into all these people.
I'm just joking. What to do? Tell me. I have seen good days when I was young. In between, there was a gap because I had no information about all these things and all. Whatever I read in the papers was all that I was saying and all. Then I came to Lokayukta. I'm finished with Lokayukta now. But I really like what I did during Lokayukta. That it still continues, this thing in me. I keep going. I've been to more than 1,600 educational institutions all over India. Talking the same thing. Inculcate two values, contentment in life and humanism. These two values will keep you good. When you are good, the society becomes good. When society is good, these people are shunted out. And according to me, no punishment is more severe than boycott. When not only that person, his family is also boycotted. Now, when we were youngsters, we used to say, "Mani go better. Don't go to that house."
Vaishkar.
And those children, I could say, while walking to school, they would come and they say, "Why are you not coming to my house? I come to your house." I have no answer.
That's true. But I want to ask another question, which is slightly different from what you're thinking. What is the value people give to women in this country?
Inferior ranking given to the based on sex can never ever be justified either morally or legally. It can't be justified at all. Because what is inside here is the same. Whether a man or a woman, they have the same thing. But it's just that they were treated as a chattel at one point of time in some countries. They had no recognition in the society at all. They were meant to bear children or do housework, nothing more than that. The thing, And we have not been able to wipe that out. Even today. Even today, we think in terms of reservation for them. Okay, but mere giving reservation is no good. You've got to bring them up socially. There should be equality in all respect. Otherwise, we can know half of the population of this world is to be treated as inferior, maybe just superior to the animal, but inferior to the male thing. How can there be development? How can there be peace? Because once a woman matures and she understands what is wrong, what is right. And there's a large section of women today at least stand up and say, no, I won't accept this. But still, there are places in India where they keep them out. Even during the menstruation period, they got to go outside the house and sit there. And whoever inculcated it, I don't know whether I've never read the scriptures of any religion, including my own religion, though I believe in God. I'm a strong believer in God, but I've not read it. Whether the scriptures itself sort of discriminates between male and female, I don't know. Huh?
They are treated as goddesses.
If that be so, then why is this?
I don't know. I don't know where it came. It's all man-made.
No doubt about it. Even scriptures are man-made, I think.
Yes, it is man-made. It is not at all. But then, as a doctor and as a gynecologist, infertility specialist, I'm very curious to hear from you. What could be the remedy for this?
Like many other issues in this country, unless our thinking process changes, it's very difficult. Now, how do you change a thinking process? It should start, as I mentioned, from the house.
Yes.
Yeah? When we were young, let me not say that everything is perfect in my family, but then we were 6 kids, 3 sons and 3 daughters. And the difference between age is 1 year, 1.5 years only. 6 kids were born in about 7.5, 8 years born. And there was no differentiation whatsoever. Not because my mother was powerful or anything, but whether she was responsible or my father was responsible, I do not know. But we shared the same equality in every respect. As a matter of fact, I think the girls were more intelligent in studies than the boys, because we had our sports and other things involved in it. But the girls were much more. One of my sisters, unmarried, got into Bangalore Medical College. But the other 2 got married very young and all. But then they were better than us in studies, the thing and all. But that is the way if you're brought. That's the first stage. Now the second stage, when you go, you got to get this discrimination of making them sit in one room, one part of the room. You said boys will sit in another part. Why? What's for? This is what really creates that superiority and inferiority complex.
Absolutely.
Just keep it open.
This is exactly what I would.
And every job, I'm very glad. Recently, one girl got into a fighter plane, got chosen for yesterday or day before and all. I mean, there should be more of them, I'm sure. Maybe God has not created them physically as strong as this thing. But today, physical strength is of no use, because what it requires is this. Absolutely. If you are intelligent enough to handle a machine, it doesn't require physical strength. You are not lifting that machine, but you know how to operate it. I'm sure they'll take it over. We had a lady for 16 years as Prime Minister of this country, and she really kept the whip in her hand. Well, I don't want them to go to that extreme either, but then be equal.
Yes. I think that is a real... The thing is that I feel that the real enemy of a woman is another woman.
No, that may be internal thing.
Internal
it could be.
Politics.
But the basic cause for this thing is men. There is no doubt about it. But they are the ones who have created this superiority and inferiority, this thing. It's slowly weaning away, but when? How many years would it take?
How many
years would it take?
But if it has to be hastened, I think the generation that is coming forward due to the exposure.
I can tell. Sorry for interrupting. I can tell you one thing. Maybe women are also cause for their own this thing, because when they come to power, they don't want anybody else to come to power.
That is why I'm saying.
It could be.
It's because when the mother-in-law is actually in power, she'll say, as a daughter-in-law, I was treated bad. So therefore, why should she enjoy? I'm going to treat her bad. If that can break, then I think things will change. And I feel so, that in a way we should be able to sort of look at it rather than...
At the same time, effort should be made from all sides.
The role of men, role of women,
role of children. Everything is put together. I think we can, but then...
See, if we can eliminate polio in the society, just because the government got into it and then was able to do it, and if we take this as important and put it across...
I can assure you there is... nothing, if a man decides to eliminate this discrimination, nothing to stop him at all. But then That is the main thing. He loves those superiority complex,
Absolutely. This is why I feel that there are so many things that we can change, and if only our corruption goes down, I mean, all these things, and our population rate comes down, I mean, a lot of things can be achieved.
At the main, I'm not putting the blame on women. But then, opportunities are there. For example, for a number of centuries, women had no inheritance right in this country.
Now at least
now it's gone. So you got to take advantage of that and come out.
They
are taking. The education percentage of women is gone up tremendously. Employment things is also going up. And fields which are meant to be taboo for them and are now being occupied by women also. There is no this thing about that.
But having said this, I mean, there has been so much that you have done in such a short time in the judiciary, that a time when we had actually lost hope in the judiciary, and cases that were larking around for years and years, and even when the people were dead, their names were still being taken in, and said that the case has to continue. The only way the case was closed when that person had died. Yeah. And that was how it is going, and even now it is going on.
Recently, I was invited by the High Court to inaugurate Lok Adalat, this thing, the alternate dispute resolution system. The motto seems to be the access to justice to everybody, because a large section of the poor people have no access to justice. So Lok Adalats like things had been brought out to the thing. There I said, look, you have provided enough access to justice. Please find an exit from justice.
That is correct.
Yeah. Because, this is a punishment. Becoming a litigant is a punishment. Not only monetary punishment, but mentally it's a punishment. And you are deprived of all your things. As you said, after your death, if you are given this recognition, what's the big idea about the thing? So exit from litigation is another most important. But we got to discuss this. And it's not as if it's impossible. You see, in America, there are only two courts. First court, the second court. The federal court, the Supreme Court has nothing to do with litigation. Absolutely. Only constitutional matters go there. They go straight to the federal court, then to the Supreme Court. Here, it's not. Every case goes to the first court, the second court, the third court, the Supreme Court. And what happens is, this gives rise to what is called speculative litigation. A man, you take a tenant. Landlord says, my son is married and all, he wants the house of his own and all, please vacate it. And all. He files this thing. He won't go, he'll force the landlord to file an eviction petition. Now it takes 50 years before the final order comes. So 50 years he stays there. So even though he knows that he has no case, he will drag or use the litigation for the purpose of delaying it. This which I call as a speculative litigation. Borrower filing a case after case after case, it will take 50 years. Then in the end, he will pay only the agreed interest, not the market prevailing interest. So, lot of speculative litigation comes in. So, if the two courts only, the America first court, second court. Then, first of all, the number of cases being filed gets reduced, because what's the use? He'll decide it tomorrow, day after tomorrow, the higher court will decide, so I won't file any case. That will be the attitude. Here, if it's going to be 50 years, everybody wants to drag it as much as possible. So let us change. Why can't I be just two? You have a doubt. Yeah, that man might have made a mistake, so let us have another view. Then comes High Court, then comes... How do you know Supreme Court does justice then, if you have the same suspicion? So this is all saying, do away with the thing. One court.
Mm-hmm. That is true. But then, having said this, we've really discussed a lot, sir, and I think, you've really given your very, very passionate thoughts on the judiciary, and I think a lot of students and the young citizens and the senior citizens of the country have heard you, have seen you, and have actually seen what you have preached in practice. And therefore, what would your message to all our viewers today? There are over 3.5 lakh viewers watching the show today. What would your message to be? Pack the punch, and can you please tell them?
I want you to understand the cause of today's problem, which according to me is the social attitude of today. To change this social attitude, you have to inculcate two values at least. Our elders have created many values. Out of that, two values is contentment and humanism. And merely cultivating is not enough. Exhibit it in your everyday life. Then you change the society. No amount of punishment would ever be sufficient to change this society. There are countries which have death sentence for corruption. Their corruption rate is much higher than India also. So let us not think in terms of bringing in more stricter laws and all. Let's change ourselves and in turn change the society and think we'll be a better country.
So thank you very much, sir. It has been excellent, interacting with you, because what we really need to have is to have icons like you who've really, walked the talk and made people understand that you can't just preach something and practice something else, and that's what we've been having as examples everywhere. And therefore, thank you very much for coming to our studio and giving this information. I'm sure all you viewers have enjoyed this conversation, and till the next session comes in, thank you for watching Dr. Kamini Rao's Masterclass.